design the Notepad, real Notepad. And I took this comment from one of my colleagues from Saudi Arabia. After I explained to him how I'm employing Notepad in my research work, his comment was, Notepad is not bad. And therefore, I decided to have it as a title and to present it because I'm sure that any researcher would like to investigate how possible things or facilities can improve their performance or their research work. I'll start directly. I will give a PowerPoint presentation now to explain some terms and to explain, I'll give you a background of my study and to elaborate more on the reflective learning process associated with Notepad. And then I will have interactive demonstrations based on my real Notepad online. My study is called or titled Web-Based New Literacies and TEFL Curriculum Design in Teacher Education, and design study for expanding TEFL student teachers' language-related literacy practices in an Egyptian teacher education or pre-service teacher education program. As the title implies, there are a variety of terms and approaches that one should consult even before deciding on this topic. So we have, for example, literacy, web-based new literacies, which is a variation or some type of literacy, TEFL curriculum design, teacher education, and design-based research as an approach that is currently gaining ground in the process of education inquiry, and it is currently adopted by some researchers as an alternative to the experimental design, which sometimes does not answer the questions in a proper way. We have also language practices or literacy practices attached to the English language learning. We have pre-service teacher education as a context. These things or these elements made me think, how can I hold all this stuff together and how can I build my theoretical background when I initiate this research project? Therefore, I will elaborate now on why did I think initially about an online diary in this situation. The first reason is that I wanted to hold everything in one place instead of having variety of places or locations for many things. I wanted the main thing to appear together, hold together in one place so that I can refer easily to it. The second reason is I want to access it online from anywhere. The ubiquitous nature of the internet, available anywhere at any time, 24/7, this ubiquitous nature or this online nature made it easier for me to resort to this online facility. I wanted to manage the whole research process within some folders because the Notepad provides the facility of creating so many folders, and in each folder we can create endless or a limited number of notes that belong to the same topic. I wanted also to record everything relevant to what I was doing because I didn't want to lose anything. I want everything that I do, everything I think about, everything I hear from my supervisors, everything that I contemplate on at the moment. I want some tangible thing to on which such stuff can appear and which can enables me to resort to easily. I wanted also to reflect on what I was doing, and this is part of the reflective learning process I went through during my research journey. I also wanted to avoid much paper stuff, which I really hate and which I can easily lose, because I see many PhD students stuffing things, and we have, sometimes a big tower of that thick on our desks. So I really wish that one day we can also devise, or we can invent something that can easily locate things among these paper stuff as well. Nowadays we have the electronic stuff, so at least we should resort to this if we are troubled by the paper stuff. I wanted also to understand what I was doing and iteratively develop it, because I believe in the iterative nature or developmental nature of the research process, and how we can think and rethink, draft and redraft things continuously so that we can improve the whole thing. I wanted to employ the affordances enabled by the prevailing ICTs. So we have the facility, so why not using them? And why currently in ICT field or in new technologies fields, they took this way. We have the technical apparatus or technical stuff available, but how would we employ them is the question here. So I was thinking this way. If we have the facility available online for us at any time and in our hand, why shouldn't we make life easier for ourselves by making the best use of these facilities and deploying them in the proper way to make things easier for us? This is the general thinking I had at the moment. Now I refer to the reflective learning process, which is the main process I was developing and I was always drawing on. This online diary helped so much with reflective learning during the research process because I could reflect on what I was doing and improve myself each time I was reviewing my diary and thinking about how to improve myself and my research topic. This reflective learning process was done by, for example, establishing relationships between old stuff and new stuff and comparing between many aspects and dimensions. As you saw in the main title, it was very, very difficult for me to get along with all that stuff without having something like that to organize things for me. So I wanted every time to check my diary on a regular basis and to compare between many things I was doing and many things I might do in the future. I wanted to determine those aspects in my research work that needed to be improved and how they could improve. So improvement is part of this reflective process. Above all, I wanted to understand the educational aspects and concepts I was dealing with and create clear-cut divisions between them. For example, I want to differentiate between electronic literacies and web-based new literacies. After contacting many figures of the field, I realized that electronic literacies are not the same as technological literacies or web-based new literacies or online literacies or whatever. Creating such clear-cut divisions needed from me much elaboration and more contact with other people who might help in this regard. Also, another thing or another component is identifying those obstacles that were hindering or interfering with my learning, because learning is not a linear process. It's dialogic, iterative, and it's a complicated process. And therefore, I want to see what are the good things and what are the bad things in my learning. The next point is record relevant arguments and pieces made by educationalists or other people in the field to come out with my personal appreciation, because I see a lot of things, people say different things and different stuff, and the literature, as you know, is soft resource, and therefore we had to create our own appreciation. Otherwise, we can't make use of the literature review we make. So this tool in particular enabled me to conduct such thing in a very effective way. I wanted to also modify my already existing arguments based on new developments, events, and updates through using the update note facility enabled by Yahoo Notepad. Every time you change anything, you will find an update option above the box, and this option enables you to update the note, and therefore any new records or any new whatever, any new words, sentences, whatever, any new additions will be automatically recorded, and the notepad will come on the top of the folder, will appear on the top. Nowadays, this is no longer applicable because they have recently, unfortunately, it changed the outlook or the appearance of the notepad, and you just click on save every time, and it won't go to the up as it used to be when I was conducting my study. Also, creating my personal educational database that I could access from anywhere at any time and which I can easily print out if required. And we will elaborate more in this when we see the real Notepad. I wanted also to share online with my supervisor certain aspects that we had to work on together. As you see, it's very, very easy when I copy from the emails and put something into the Notepad or the other way around. It's very, very easy to do everything online, and it was very easy to update my supervisors about anything and interact with them online as well. Also, the last component, construct online research tools. Sorry, construct online. I mean online here as adverb and adverb. I wanted to construct my research tools online, making use of many ideas and resources that could be saved as notes in the relevant folders. And therefore, I had a separate folder for research tools or research methods. This is the presentation. Now let's move to the real thing, my Yahoo mail. And I'll just guess how many are using Yahoo mail at all? Do you use Yahoo mail at all? Okay. Yahoo, yeah, sorry. Yahoo. Okay. Here you will have this icon. Click on it, and because I have already created many folders, so this is the appearance of my Notepad at the moment. Of course, I have many other elements other than the PhD stuff themselves, and they are arranged alphabetically based on, of course, alphabetical order. I made use of this state of affairs by creating initial for all the folders, PhD, so that I can find them blocked together in one place like this: PhD, PhD previous study, PhD related, PhD reminder, PhD research diary, PhD research, whatever. These things are grouped together simply because there is the initial PhD. This was a technique to enable me to handle any change of location or whatever. It was easy as well to, for example, to set some reminders. If I want to see what is in this folder, I will click on this arrow. It will give me the whole list. These are the notes. These are the notes which are included under each folder. I can set, for example, important books to read. And, you know, as you see, these are important books that I did really resort to or made use of during my research journey. And yeah, as you see, I say to myself, important books to be always borrowed from library, blah, blah, blah. And if, for example, I want to print this out, it will be very easy. If I don't like this outlook or this appearance, I can click on a print. And I will have, sorry, well, it used to be print layout, by the way, before this update, so I don't think that they have improved it so much. Anyway, this is a print layout that you can print easily and you can keep all the time with you or at any time you need it. Now we can close this window and return back to our notes. For example, PhD, DBR, assessment phase. This is one of my phases, my study phases. I have a note in this one called the study plan for the assessment phase in my DBR study plan. I say to myself, for example, what I should do this month, or it was, I think, last May, last year, last July. Review the emails sent to students, review material that was on PC desktop, start writing chapter 12 on the blended iteration, check students' chat and contribution to the course wiki, blog and e-group, and find out how to upload. These things are some procedures that I have to follow. At the time, I had to follow at the time. Let's, for example, have this term like new literacy practices. I will click on this arrow and then see what the notes there. this is a master important study for a new literacy practice, electronic literacy practice in English teaching, a case study, and I give myself an idea of the study and links, if possible, to access it from anywhere at any time. The important thing about this is that I can easily, for example, if I reach this place, or this reminder, or this note, I can easily copy it and click here on another Yahoo facility, which is calendar, and set this as a reminder in my calendar. In my calendar, I can set this as a reminder to myself. Doesn't work at the moment. I don't know why. It's like any other calendar. I can say to myself, review Notepad on a weekly basis, and then I will edit this reminder in particular and say start from. And under start from, I can write here, for example, start from, and in the notes here, I can paste the few first lines of the note itself, and then I will guarantee that this editing is done for just, is saved, sorry, for just the next reminder, not all reminders. And therefore, next week, I will review this reminder, but I will see the next note which is written here in the main text. I know that some people might have different ways of doing that, but this is the technique that I used in order to make to make things easier for myself. Let's return back to the Notepad again and see one important thing before I finish this presentation. How to add a note or add a folder. It's very easy like anything else. Add a note here, title, you write the title, and then you will add it under a certain folder or category, and write or copy and paste whatever you like, and that's it. You have created, and just click save, and that's it. If you are not sure where to save it, just click unfiled, and then the note will go to this folder until you decide, and then you can easily move it to another, after it is, for example, in the unfiled file or folder, you can move it to another one, which is the more relevant one that you think that it will fit into. Also, you can add a folder at any time. Just write the name of the folder, and then you can click on save. There is a very important thing. If you can't remember where exactly you where exactly you did put a certain note, you can search easily. For example, by writing writing the keywords, like for example in my case, literacy practices, and it will search. It will give me a results view. In this case, I will see which note belonging to which folder includes such keywords. This is what I normally do, and this is the search facility that I like, and which really remove the big burden from my shoulder concerning consulting much paper stuff. Thank you very much. Let's go.
Thank you. Very interesting. Any questions?
Are you being paid by Yahoo?
Sorry?
Are you being paid by Yahoo?
Yes, no. I contacted them and told them that I have a presentation and that this is based on one of their facilities, but unfortunately they haven't replied to me yet. Seems that they are not interested in what I'm doing. Anyway, the whole article is uploaded to the school website. If you kindly just Google it. You'll find it on the school website. Hopefully it is accepted now because I uploaded it a few days ago. So it's the same name. The same name. Notepad is Notepad, and the subtitle. You can Google it and find it.
I had a question for you. Because you talk, I think it's a fantastic filing system you've done it. Very ordered, very organised, which is really great. Much better than the way I did my PhD, which, as you say, was little bits of paper all over the place, and it's still there 5 years, 6 years later. But when I'm thinking, you talked about organising all your files. What about analysis of data? Are you going to do that using a similar thing, or are you going to use different kind of software for that?
Well, my idea, thank you, this is a very good question. My idea is that this software alone cannot stand alone without being connected to other software, and therefore I always used to shift from NVivo, for example, which I used in my qualitative data analysis, to this. So I might take, for example, raw data from the Notepad itself and throw it into the NVivo, and the other way around after I get results or get some analysis. And sometimes I write my reflections on the data I'm analyzing, or I was analyzing using NVivo. Sometimes I was writing my reflections as notes.
Right.
So I work simultaneously with many tools at the same time, because I believe that one tool might be enough, but this is the only tool that I should resort to hold everything for me, to hold it together. This is the point.
I think the other software that I was thinking of too was EndNote for your references. At the moment you have
Unfortunately,
references
didn't use EndNote.
Yeah.
It was my mistake, and it was part of my weakness because I didn't like the software. But I did it manually, my references manually, unfortunately. But at least I used Notepad to locate all the references that I was using in my thesis, and I could easily search and locate them.
That's good. Any other questions?
Well, I'm just wondering whether they have an option where you can upload files, because my understanding is that you only can put text-based
Yes.
bits, right? So you can't upload
Yeah, I asked you this
PDF
question.
or
Yes.
Word files or whatever.
Videos.
So you have to do right.
I got your point. Thank you very much. It is a very important question as well. The point is that I also employ the email concurrently or simultaneously with the Notepad. I have, for example, some of the. Can I access to line? It's okay. I don't want to waste much time, but okay. So the point is that I might have the. It seems that the university does not like Yahoo as well.
Yes.
Okay. I will show a very interesting example. You can, of course, upload anything to your email by sending a message to yourself and keeping it into a certain folder. And I have many folders in my email account as well. And so the Notepad function here will be to refer to this folder. So, for example, if, for example, I want to see. Just to get an example, any example that might help. See. Yeah, it has nothing to do with that, but this is, for example, approval of to do my study, my field study in Egypt. Therefore, I want to refer to the email and say that because I can't attach this here in the Notepad, so I have the main text in the email. So, approval on my travel to do the field study in Egypt issued by the Egyptian Culture Bureau in London, attached to an email, okay? Subject of this email is Egyptian Culture Bureau approval on my travel, blah, 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 the letter attached. And then the body of the email is, hello, could you please go through the attached file? So if I want to search and locate this email, I can easily copy it here and then return to the mail view, and then between two parentheses or two inverted commas, I will write this. Definitely it will result in the exact email that was sent by the Egyptian government. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hope that I could answer your question.
Yes, thank you.
Very